You're at 109 right now.
So now, Jesus' family line, in terms of as a dynasty, was the Hasmonean dynasty at the time. And their symbol of their household was a panther, a black panther.
Did you see yourself?
What? Of course I did.
Because that's you. I mean,
man, listen, that's why
you.
That's why it affected me like that, because I'm like, damn, you know, whoever wrote this, and obviously we know who wrote it, but I'm like, this dude, man, you know, he spoke to some real shit, because my dad is from Africa, but I was raised in South Central LA.
Hey everybody, let's get into it, shall we? March 31st, 2019, Nipsey Hussle was killed. That's 4 years ago. And on March 31st, 2023, Jean-Michel Basquiat's art exhibit opened. March 31st, okay? Today is today is April 8th, all right? And I was driving down Slauson Boulevard when I happened to see an advertisement for Jean-Michel Basquiat's art exhibit. This advertisement is at Slauson Donuts. Now, Slauson Donuts, if you don't know, is a location where Nipsey hung out. Slauson Donuts was a popular donut shop on Slauson, in the neighborhood, in the Crenshaw district, okay? Of course, that neighborhood is, that's the territory of the Rolling 60s gang, so Rolling 60s members would hang out there. Nipsey was a Rolling 60s gang member, so he hung out there. I'm calling your attention to Jean-Michel Basquiat's advertisement located where Nipsey would hang out. So what I'm talking about is a physical location where two giants, right? Jean-Michel Basquiat and Nipsey Hussle are brought together. Not in the physical form, okay? But these two giants occupy that space, not at the same time. We know that Jean-Michel Basquiat died in 1988 at the age of about 27. He was going on 28. Nipsey Hussle was killed 4 years ago at the age of 33. So not at the same time, but in space, at the same location, okay? And I find it very coincidental. March 31st is an important date for both, in some regard. Excuse me. Now, there probably are other dates that I am ignorant of, whereby Jean-Michel and Nipsey share some synchronous moment or synchronous fact. But as I said, I'm ignorant of that. But I just want to call your attention to what I have noticed. Now, here's something else. Personally, I believe that Jean-Michel Basquiat painted Nipsey unknowingly. Jean-Michel Basquiat painted Nipsey. Now, again, these men lived, Nipsey lived 3 years, or there's a 3-year period over which Jean-Michel Basquiat and Nipsey, or rather Ermias Askedam, where their lives overlap. Okay, Nipsey was born in 85. Basquiat died in 83. So 85, 86, 87, 83, or 80, 86, 87, 88, right? Those 3 years. And the painting that I am thinking of, the painting I'm going to show you, the painting you're looking at, is a painting that Jean-Michel Basquiat painted in 1982, 3 years before Nipsey was born. But the painting and, You see, Jean-Michel Basquiat was an artist who incorporated words into his works of art. You see, in doing so, Basquiat basically is giving us clues to who this person is, who this male figure is that he has drawn. Now, oftentimes in Jean-Michel's work, he has drawn self-portraits. And by all means, you could assume that Jean-Michel painted himself. But I believe that he didn't do that, especially when I saw this picture. I saw this picture while watching the video, Crenshaw and Slauson, A True Story by Nipsey Hussle. And I saw the number 109 in that picture. And I was delighted because this is, of course...
You're at 109 right now.
That's my channel, iSee109 or iSee109. Or as Kobe just said, 109. I see these numbers and it catches my attention. So I was so happy to have found an image of Nipsey and 109 because that was like the capstone of my story. This is what I'm talking about. I keep seeing 109 and I actually saw 109 on the day that Nipsey was murdered. And I mean, the circumstances surrounding how I saw 109 the day that Nipsey was murdered are completely bizarre. But I'm not going to tell that story now. So anywho, you know, time and space is interesting. And I guess the one thing that links us is our mind. Is the mind. And so there it is. There is Jean-Michel at the corner. I believe that is the corner of Slauson and Bryanhurst. That's where Nipsey was, physically, at the corner of Bryanhurst and Slauson. Jean-Michel is there. Nipsey is here. Today's April 8th. Jean-Michel is there. If that poster is up there, Jean-Michel is there, okay? Nipsey is there in spirit, but he was there physically, okay? But see, this is so bizarre because what I'm saying is Jean-Michel painted Nipsey, but he had no knowledge. He was ignorant of his existence. He wasn't even born yet, and yet he painted him. How is that possible? The only way that I think that can be explained is by what Isaiah Washington brought into the consciousness. He talked about the actor, Isaiah Washington, you know, Grey's Anatomy, that brother, that outspoken brother. He talked about, I think, blood memory. DNA has memory.
I try to document it as coherently as possible in my memoir, but ultimately, I just believe that DNA has memory, and in the 21st century, a lot of information comes to us in our dreams, or in what those things called deja vus.
I think that Jean-Michel was channeling. I guess he had to have been channeling God. Or you know what? I mean, we are all gods. So he was channeling, what is it? Messianic spirits, messianic energy, the Messiah. I think that's what was happening. And so when we see the coming of a figure like Nipsey Hussle, and we experience him, then we see signs and signals of his coming, then it's like, wow, man, you really have to pay attention. Nipsey uttered Jean-Michel Basquiat's name in his song. He uttered Jean-Michel Basquiat's name in his song entitled Face the World.
Victory to me is when you get your moms right, niggas. Got this shit twisted like Jean-Michel Basquiat destroyed his pictures. Self-inflicted homicide, don't pull the trigger. I feel like I got to tell you, you got something to contribute.
I personally learned about Jean-Michel in 2005. The song was released around 2013. By that time, I don't know. I guess Jean-Michel's popularity was growing somehow. The media machine was working, and then because I started to hear Basquiat's name mentioned by Kanye, Jay-Z, Nipsey. Probably, I'm sure Talib Kweli has mentioned Basquiat. But anyway, that happened. So that was another moment. That was a moment in time, right? Because that's music. That was a moment in time when Basquiat and Nipsey occupied the same space. So that's what's up. That's all I have for right now. Peace.